Hello everyone, I am Mrs. Cumberbatch and welcome to my channel. I am the best manifestation trainer to have ever lived. So let's begin. Today I wanted to talk about mental health issues, right? And I had posted a thread on the subreddit, Neville Goddard subreddit, and a lot of people asked me how I healed the mental health issues that I once had. So I had PTSD, anxiety disorder, panic disorder, clinical depression, and I had CPTSD basically because of a lot of traumas and a lot of things that happened in my life, and I was taking benzos and SSRIs and a lot of different medications, right? And I took it for almost a decade. Um, I was suicidal for as long as I can remember, starting from the age of 7 or 8. And I had very difficult and very debilitating social anxiety to the point where if I had to go and buy something, I would rehearse the lines in my head, and I would have anxiety attacks if I had to attend any social functions or anything like that. After I had my children, it became more and more severe, and the depression was debilitating as well, to the point where I couldn't shower without uh, crying myself. And I'm a clean freak, right? So, and with the CPTSD, the flashbacks were again very debilitating, and it went on for a very long time. Um, Benzos are very strong drugs, and I was hooked to those. Without taking my clonazepam, or without taking my ethizolam, I couldn't step out of the house. And those medications, they would mm, make me hazy. They would make me. I was a zombie basically, and it had to be taken every day. Like once you are hooked to the drugs, you can't stop it just like that. Cold turkey, basically. So at some point in my life, I'm like, I can't be on these medications for the rest of my life because the side effects were very bad. I couldn't feel anything. The hunger was, completely insane. I would binge eat because of the medications, you know. And why? First of all, why should I be hooked to the medications? That was the first question that I asked myself. If I am God, then why should I be hooked to these drugs? Before we go into what I did, I'm having tea, so I will take pauses in between. I'm sorry for that. Before we go into all of these things, there is something that you need to understand. You need to understand that the the body, the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the actions, they are all 3D. They are all part of the 3D. The emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the actions, and the body are 3D. They are a part of the 3D. You are the awareness behind all of these things. And you need to drill this into your head. The state that you possess, the state that you are in at any given moment decides what you're going to feel, which emotions you're going to have, the thoughts that you have, and the actions that you take. You are not in control of these things. These things are decided by the state that you are in. Okay. Now, I would suggest you meditate on this, you affirm this, you sit with this, so that it becomes easier for you to um, um, go into the state, it becomes easier for you to manifest the things that you want to manifest, right? Now, I was around 27 years old, and one day I was taking my medications in the morning, and I was anxious about taking the medications because I knew the moment I took them, I would not be able to think, I would not be able to decide, because those were the side effects for me. And I was anxious about taking my anxiety medications. Funny thing. And I was sitting with my medication and the glass of water, and I'm like, no, you can't. You can't live like this anymore. And that was when I was like, I need to get off. From that point forward, every day, even if I had anxiety attacks, even if I was panicking, even if my heart was beating, even if I was sweating and my body was shaking, I would just say one thing and one thing to myself: my mental health is absolutely perfect and I'm not hooked on any medications. I would say this to myself over and over again, that I had perfect mental health and I was not hooked on any medications. And I am not saying that it manifested in a day or two. No, it took time. It took more than a month for me to be able to get off the medications, because you have to wean off as well. And there are a lot of um, side effects when you stop taking the medications as well. It is a slippery slope. Psychiatric medications are a slippery slope. And I am warning you, if you are taking any medications, don't just stop. Don't try to force the actions. Don't try to take any actions. And if you are suffering from any mental health issues, you need to see the psychiatrist, you need to see the therapist. There is nothing wrong with that. And you can manifest while taking the medications, because that's what I did. I was into therapy. I was seeing my psychiatrist every month, and I was getting new prescriptions every month while I was manifesting. So, again, anyone who says just stop the medications, no, because you are not in the state. And when you are in the state, the actions happen naturally, the 3D shifts naturally, and the things will come to you naturally. So, do not take that risk. Okay. Now, coming back. So, what I did was I started affirming, and I wouldn't sit and affirm. I would just say it randomly, because I had other things at hand during that period. And after affirming for a week, you know, I started feeling like, the thought came to me that I don't need the medications anymore. Okay. And it just came to me. I did not stop the medications again. I did not stop the medications. And then I had a consultation with my psychiatrist, and I had a session with my therapist as well. So I went to the psychiatrist. I did not say anything. I did not try anything. And my doctor was like, I guess we need to lower the dose. I don't know why he said that, but he said that, and he lowered the dose. I started taking the lower dose medications, okay, and I was affirming each time I took the medication. I had panic attacks, I had anxiety attacks. I would keep affirming that. And one day, what happened? I was somewhere, I in my cousin's house. I don't remember. Um, I suddenly had such a strong anxiety attack that I could not sit. I just could not sit, and there were a lot of people. I got up, I came out, and I was standing on the road, and the anxiety was so strong that I felt like I'm dying. And I should have spiraled because of that anxiety attack, but I did not. I did not spiral. I told myself this is the last ever attack that I ever have in my life. I somehow reached home. I did not take the emergency medications. I should have taken, because that's what my doctor said. I did not take the emergency medications. What I did was I put blasting music in my head, and I started walking inside my house very fast. The adrenaline came. It took a little time for me to calm down, obviously, and eventually I calmed down enough. I took a melatonin and I went to sleep. When I woke up, and when I used to have anxiety attack before, and if I fell asleep, I would wake up feeling like I have a hangover. But that did not happen. I woke up feeling very good. I did not have any nightmares. And I was taking half the dose of the medications that I was taking prior. Again, this went on for another 1 month, and I went to the doctor again. He asked me the questions that he always asked, and I was like, I only had one anxiety attack in the whole month. He's like, again, we are lowering your dose. You will take it for 1 week, and then you will cut the medication in half, and then you will take it for 1 week, and then you will stop. That's how it went. Now, he's like, you have to remember that when you lower the dose, you're going to have some rebound anxiety and some rebound depression and some rebound things. And then and there, I was like, no, I will not have any of those things. I will not feel any of those things. I came back home. I started taking the medications as he prescribed. And again, I did not feel anything. I did not have anxiety attacks. I didn't even feel like I was taking the medications. And the clarity that I felt in my day to day life was amazing. The flashbacks, I guess I had flashback once or twice. And after that, after 2 weeks, the medications were stopped. Consciously, I had the thought maybe I'm going to feel something, maybe I'm going to have flashbacks, maybe I'm going to feel things. But it did not happen because I stuck to the fact that my mental health is perfect and I do not take any medications and I am absolutely fine. I do not have anxiety attacks, I do not have panic attacks, and blah blah blah. Now, 2 weeks went by. Nothing happened. I was off the medications. And the first day that I did not take any medications after the decade, I woke up and I felt like I was reborn. The clarity that I felt, the the ease that I felt in my body was something very different. I hadn't felt that in more than a decade since before I had my children. Then I went to my psychiatrist and I'm like, I have tapered off the medications. I did not have any panic attack, anxiety attack, or any of that. I can shower properly. I don't have to force myself into doing anything. I'm taking care of my skin and all of that. And he was extremely happy about that. He still gave me a prescription for SOS medications in case I I need it in case I have any attacks or anything like that. I bought the medication, I purchased it, and I kept it on my table. And each day when I was in my meetings or when I was taking the sessions, I would look at those medications and I was like, wow, my mental health is absolutely perfect. And that was in the year 2027, sorry, 2024. And we are in the year 2026. It's been actually it was in the year 2022, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 years. I'm not even counting anymore. So since then, since since then, I haven't taken a single medication. The SOS medications have expired, obviously, but I haven't had the need to take those medications ever again, and I do not suffer. I absolutely do not suffer. The funny thing is, I do not have social anxiety at all. The people who meet me now, they think I am a raging extrovert, where I wasn't once upon a time in my life. I'm still an introvert, but people think that. So that is one thing. But another thing is, I worked diligently on my self concept during that period. I worked diligently. I did patterning, I did unearthing, and I found out all the problematic scenarios, and I made my own tape. I made my own affirmations. I worked diligently on my self concept. I revised every day. I revised the specific scenarios of my life. So these were the things that I was doing in the background as well. So the point is, people think that okay, if I am manifesting getting off the medications, I should first take action and stop the medications. No, don't do that. The actions always come after the state. The actions happen naturally, the actions happen automatically, and I can't stress on this fact enough that you do not take actions. You continue the medications, you continue the appointments, you continue the therapy, and this just does not apply to the mental health aspect, it also applies to the physical health aspect. Maybe you're suffering from some um, chronic problem, maybe you're suffering from some acute problems, the bigger diseases, the fatal diseases. You continue to do all the things that you were doing in the 3D while manifesting, and the results will come naturally, the feelings will come naturally, the emotions will come naturally, the actions will come naturally. Do not try to force anything. You keep visualizing, affirming, whichever technique you choose. Trust the process, it will happen naturally, right? And this is how I also manifested a lot of physical changes. I lost a lot of weight, and I will talk about it in my next video. But for now, if you want to manifest changing your mental health, changing your physical health, and if you want to manifest becoming better, the first thing you need to remember is the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, the actions, and the body are all the part of the 3D. You are just the awareness behind it. The second most important thing is feelings, emotions, thoughts, actions. They change. They change only when your state changes. And how do you change your state? By repetition. Whichever technique you use, just repeat. All right. So that's it for today. Again, I also offer a self concept overhaul course. The details are in the description. There is an email option, there is a one on one option, there is an audio option, and there is also, there are a lot of options. You can check the details, and if you want to work with me, you will find all the details in the description. And I will see you in the next one. I love you all. Bye.